This is Unit 6, Review Number 1. This is under 6.10 on my website. All right, so I'm going to go through the even problems here. The odd ones are, the answers are all online. The even ones are as well, but here are the even problems. So number 2 says calculate the area between the given limits. All right, then calculate the total area by treating all areas as positive. So this is one of those problems where we have to do it two different ways. So first, we're going to integrate what they give us here. All right, so I'm going to take the integral from -1 to 4 of the x squared minus 3x plus 1, and I'm going to integrate. So when I do that, I'm going to add 1, and I'm going to end up here with 1/3 x to the thirds, add 1 to the 2, divide by, go all the way down the line, 1/3 x to the third minus 3 over 2 x squared plus x, and we're going to do this from the 1, or -1 rather, to 4. When you do that, you plug it in, you do the f of 4 minus the f of -1, and your answer here comes out to be a 4.167. So that's the first part of it. Second part, it says, okay, then go through and take everything as positive. So we could have some parts of this above the x-axis, which is positive, and some parts below the x-axis, which is shown as a negative. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that x squared minus 3x plus 1, and we're going to try to find out where exactly is that crossing. All right, so when I go through and do that, the best thing to do is honestly just to go to your calculator, all right, and graph it. All right, the x squared minus 3x plus 1, it's not going to factor into nice numbers, so instead you just go through and you graph it. And when you do that, you find your zeros. And when you find your zeros here, you're going to have that x squared minus 3x plus 1. Again, you're setting that equal to 0, again, in the calculator. You get x is equal to 0.382 and 2.618. So that for this problem, I have to look to see which one of those two, or both of them, are in between -1 and 4 my bounds. And both of them are, 0.382 and 2.618, which again are my zeros from my graph, are between these bounds. So when I go through and I graph this, this is going to look like the following graph. I go through, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I know I want to go out to 4. I know I definitely want to go to -1 because that's where my first boundary is. And I'm going to graph this. So this is going to come down. It's actually going to cross through at 1. We know that because that's the y-intercept here. All right, so it's going to come down. We know it's crossing at 0.3, so that's roughly right there, and 2.6 is right there. So this is going to come down, and this is what my graph is going to look like. So you can clearly see part of it is below the x-axis, especially since when I do this, I want to go from -1 all the way out to 4. So this is going to come all the way up over here. So really, there's 3 sections that I have here. All right, so if I take a look, I'm going to have this section above, and I have another section above out over here. They're going to eventually intersect. And then you have the bottom section down here just below, and I'll put that one in blue. So the bottom right now is being shown as a negative. So what we need to do is to take that, find that area, and then we're going to make that be a positive. All right, so how do you do that? We have 3 different sections. We have this first section here in pink on the left. We have the bottom section in blue here, and then we have the third section on the right, which is again in pink. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to find out what each one of those are. So this is -1. This right here is the 0.382. This right there is my 2.618. And finally at the end here, I'm going all the way to 4. So for that first section, I'm going to do f of 0.382 minus f of -1. This is exactly what we did right here. So we're going to use the integral. It should already be in the calculator. You can go through and do your y bars to do this. You get that answer. I'm going to set up the next two as well, and then we're going to plug those into the calculator. So this is going to be f of 2.618. So now we're doing the blue section, so from here. And then minus the f of 0.382. And the last one here is going to be f of 4 minus f of 2.618. And that's for this final section. So when you find out what those are, you're going to add up all those numbers. So this first section here from -1 to the 0.382 is 3.015. The middle section is going to come out as a negative 1.683, but we're going to take it as a positive 1.863. Because remember, we're taking all areas as positive. And the final section is again 3.015. Add those 3 numbers up, and we end up here with 7.893 units squared for the total area. So again, you have to find the zeros, pick the zeros that are going to be between your bounds. In this case, -1 to 4. There were 2, so that broke it up into 3 separate areas.